Winners and losers presented by Discover. An easy winner, looking at the crowd, the Swifties. They win tonight. They get to see Taylor Swift out in the wild with Travis Kelce in attendance for Game 4. And to Taylor Swift's credit, I did see images online of her taking pictures with fans. That's always cool. Great moment for the Swifties that get an opportunity to share a moment with Taylor Swift. There they are, checking out the drop schedule on their phone. Appreciate that, Travis. But yeah, the Swifties, they get a win tonight.
I was bummed. Like, I was hoping that we might get like a 4 overtime classic where she's just like imprisoned in the arena. Like Kelsey's like, we can't go. What if Kachuk has the game winner in like the 4th overtime? We got to go congratulate him. It was awesome having her here. Obviously, like NFL fans have experienced this whole thing many, many times. But, you know, just having her as a part of the Stanley Cup final creates palpable buzz for something. And you had a lot of people being astonished that she'd even show up to a hockey game. So we get a little bit of the Taylor Swift rub there. I will say, though, as much as I enjoy a good pun, as much as I enjoy a good reference, the arena playing Taylor Swift songs incessantly tonight during different parts of the game, dropping a little anti-hero when somebody went to the penalty box, you know, playing a little bit of Florida here and there. It kind of reminded me of when you meet a comedian and quote his bit back to him. You know what I mean? It's like, just play it cool. You know, she doesn't need to hear her own stuff while she's at the game. But it was awesome having her here, and obviously Travis Kelce as well.
Do you also, before you get to your winner or loser, are you also the guy that does not wear the T-shirt of the band of the concert you're going to?
No, it's a completely different thing. Of course I wear the T-shirt of my band because most of the time I have a really cool T-shirt to wear to the show. Like I've got a Smashing Pumpkins T-shirt from like 1996. Like why would I not wear that to a show? So everyone can marvel at the fact that but why wouldn't they? It's like going to see a sporting event. What am I, a Leafs fan? I'm going to show up in a suit?
Yes, in the platinums and not show up till the second half of till the encore. Yeah, got it.
Loser for me, 3-goal leads. The Oilers came back from a 3-goal deficit to go on to win Game 4 on the back of excellent goaltending from Calvin Pickard. 4 unanswered goals. No lead is safe in the playoffs this year, and especially here in the Stanley Cup final. So, good, you know, bad for teams and probably their mental acuity. Good for fans in the fact that everything is unpredictable in the playoffs these days.
This was a little unpredictable also. Our next winner, not because he won a trophy, but because he won 2. Connor Hellebuyck, congratulations to the Winnipeg Jets netminder for not only winning the Vezina Trophy, but also the Hart Trophy as league MVP, following Dominic Hasek in 97 and 98 with Buffalo, Jose Theodore in 2002 with Montreal, and Carey Price in 2015, also with the Habs. Winning the Hart Trophy as a goaltender. Not very easy to do, but Wish, you did call this. You had Hellebuyck as your Hart Trophy winner, so you must feel right now you're on the right side of history, my guy.
Yeah, I do. I mean, like, I think he deserved it. I think he's the reason the Jets were that good, you know, and there are other worthy candidates, including Leon Draisaitl. I actually had Kucherov second on my ballot, because I thought he had an outstanding season. But this was a lot of people are hesitant to give the goalie the MVP. They kind of consider the Vezina to be the goalie award, quote unquote. So it was I had no problem giving it to Hellebuyck this year. I think he deserved it. As you can see, the NHL did the whole thing where they're getting adventurous with the way they present these trophies to the players. You know, we've talked about the whole Sean Monahan winning the Masterton thing earlier on a previous edition of the show. I liked it. I still think, honestly, that I do like a more traditional award show. I think that's just kind of my own personal preference. But you always like the NHL getting a little adventurous and providing a little bit of a different take on how to do these awards. And hopefully, you know, people dug it.
But with all of that said, there was an errant Hart Trophy first place vote, Wish.
It wasn't errant. Errant means that like you touched the wrong button on your keyboard. This man typed out Nick Suzuki's name. Loser for me is being on Suzuki Island. Ryan Locks, I don't know you, but you are the Minnesota Wild writer for the Hockey News. You had a peculiar ballot. You had no Connor Hellebuyck. You had no Nathan MacKinnon. You had Nick Suzuki as the Hart Trophy winner. as league MVP, Nick Suzuki. Now, I mentioned this, Arda, because when the award vote tabulations came out via the National Hockey League and they're announcing Hellebuyck as the Hart Trophy winner, I got no less than 8 texts from other writers, podcasters, a couple of league executives, knowing that I'm like the awards guy, being like, Nick Suzuki? So listen, my take on this is this. I had some people being like, you got to take away this person's vote in perpetuity. Like, they don't deserve to have a ballot. I don't agree with that. I think everyone has their own way of approaching these awards. Everyone has their own way of assessing value. People think I'm dumb for saying you got to make the playoffs in order to be MVP, because that's how I assess value. So, Dylan, if you're out there, if you've got a justification as to why Nick Suzuki should be the Hart Trophy winner as league MVP, more power to you. Let your freak flag fly. And but you do need a justification. You can't just be like, I felt like it. Like, you got to at least justify it, and then we can be okay with the goofy ass vote that you've just given us.
Especially because Dylan did put out the tweet with his order, and so we know that it's him. And so I agree that an explanation would be welcomed by the awards community, and you being the unofficial president of the awards community, it would be very much warranted. Yes.
I still can't believe that it wasn't one of these guys in Montreal. Like, I really thought it was one of those guys in Montreal that did this, but it turned out to be a guy from the Minnesota Wild on the Hockey News. Who knew?
I even asked, this is pulling the curtain a little bit, but before we did our segment on ESPN Australia, we do a pregame show leading into the Cup final game, and Wish joins us for that show. And you were like right in the thick of this, like you didn't know at the time, and you were investigating this, and I was who did I say again? Oh, I think Renaud Lavoie. Yeah, I was like, was it Renaud Lavoie? Because it was like the first name that came to my head, and he was like standing right beside you off camera. You were just talking to him. You're just investigating him, and I was like the first guy that I could think of. He was right beside you.
Besides the fact that if it was one of the Frenchies, they probably would have put Lane Hudson as the winner, knowing how much they love that kid this year in Montreal. But no, it was, again, a proper result with Hellebuyck winning. The awards always have goofy votes, but this one, I think, went the way it should with Hellebuyck winning.
Winner, end of an era. Chris Kreider's career with the New York Rangers is over. He is going to the Anaheim Ducks. Trevor Zegras very happy about it. He posted on his Instagram stories. Kreider scored 326 goals, third all-time in Rangers history, 48 playoff goals, most in franchise history, 116 power play goals, tied for most in Rangers history. Well, it's a fresh start. It's an end of an era feel for a long-time Ranger Wish, and now he gets a fresh start in Anaheim, and the Rangers can now move on to find another star player to fill that salary cap.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the idea that the Rangers are like, we got to break up the core because we can't win with that core. And the Anaheim Ducks being like, give us Jacob Trouba and Chris Kreider so we can start winning. Like, it's an interesting split in philosophy between two teams. Kreider to the Ducks makes a lot of sense. I think he, from a logistics standpoint, helps their special teams on the power play, stand in front of the net. On the penalty kill, he's adept at being a penalty killer. It does overload them on the left side. I imagine that probably means that Trevor Zegras will move back into the middle next year. Not a bad move for Anaheim that's trying to kind of like bring a veteran core in to teach these youngins how to win, and Kreider's a good one, man. Kreider's a good dude. I'll miss him in New York. He was always a stand-up guy, and I'll say this. I mean, you talk about guys that were really, really emotionally impacted with the way the Rangers were doing business. You know, not honoring the promises and the trade protection given to guys like Barclay Goodrow and to guys like Jacob Trouba. Like, Kreider was clearly upset with the way the business was being done there, and he was going to be the next one, and so off to Anaheim he goes, and hopefully for the best for all the teams involved.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't
loser for me though. Yeah, it's the end of an era. I mean, you think about all the names that have moved on from the Rangers: Jacob Trouba, Capo Caco, Philip Hedl, Ryan Lindgren, Jimmy Vesey, Chris Kreider, maybe Zibanejad next, maybe Lafreniere next, maybe Condrey Miller next. Who's to say? it's incredible to think where this team was a few years ago and how the core has now been exploded by Chris Drury and James Dolan and the rest of the management group there with the Rangers. I am intrigued, though, Arda, what they will do now. I mean, they open up Kreider salary cap space. There's a lot of talk about them trading Keandre Miller versus giving him a long-term deal. They are going to use some of the salary cap space to protect against an offer sheet on a guy like Will Cooley. I kind of think the smartest thing for the Rangers to do is to slowly rebuild this roster, especially their blue line, in whatever ways they can this season. Keep your powder dry, keep your cap space open, and really go for it a year from now when you have players like Jack Eichel, who could be UFA, and a certain plucky best player alive in Edmonton, who may become a unrestricted free agent as well.
Yes, benefit from the bump in salary cap ceiling and also free up some space. I mean, if we're going by I find it interesting that the Ducks are like, let's bring in all those Rangers to win. Why not just continue that and bring in Morgan Riley and Mitch Marner? just bring in a couple leaves.
I gotta tell you, man, like I've been, as you can imagine, out and about during the Stanley Cup final. What else are you going to do with 2 days off in Fort Lauderdale? But the amount of Mitch Marner discussions that you have around media and executives and agents and everybody, and like literally everyone is talking about what is going to happen to Mitch Marner. And the amazing part and what makes the offseason so fun is that everybody's got a different theory. No one knows where he's going. Everybody's saying, oh, Vegas is going to open up space, or he'd be perfect in Anaheim, or, is Utah going to do something nutty? It's really, really fun that nobody has a beat on where Marner's going to end up. And it's going to make for a really fun couple weeks here.
That's going to do it for our winners and losers presented by Discover.